I'm giving away this championship belt at 100K subscribers. Welcome back to the Angle Show. We got a big one, very, very big one. New signings, surprise debuts, all that good stuff. But right now I want to kick things off. Looks like WWE is headed back into the Smackdown versus Raw era. We've been talking a little bit about this actually for about a year now, about WWE including general managers, making Raw and Smackdown have its own significant look and feel that are different from each other. This was something that we talked about prior to Triple H getting into power. Obviously, the merger kind of backdated everything and it kind of delayed things or whatever. But now WWE is already starting to do this on television because last night on SmackDown, Nick Aldis, very logically, as general manager of SmackDown, fined Jey Uso. And he had security escort out Jey Uso and, of course, Adam Pearce. And this is really cool because now you have Adam Pearce already kicking things off by saying, let the games begin. It's a very logical approach to let fans know that there is going to be some issues between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. And I think Nick Aldis is like the perfect general manager in this situation. I think people are already starting to understand why he was chosen in this role. Everything just seems believable. It seems real and authentic and organic. But also, in addition to that, you know, WWE is going to be splitting up the tag team championship belts. There's even talks. There's been talks for a while. And we'll really see if those things come to fruition. But there was talks for a while that we talked about on this channel about a year ago that brand-specific pay-per-views could become a thing again. And when you look at how loaded the WWE rosters are, I think it's something that could definitely happen. You know, it increases the live event and the pay-per-view count. But now there's a big opportunity for WWE to capitalize on that and make even more money, which is something that Nick Khan and Endeavor are definitely in favor of. And when you have Raw and SmackDown really fight for brand supremacy and you actually have logic being applied, I think this is going to be the most successful variation of a brand split ever in WWE's history. And I think it's not only because of Triple H's creative power, but it just seems like there's been a shift in the way the company runs, which will allow that to happen. Now, obviously, we are already beginning to see a split between the general managers, and there's some tension there. Then next thing you know, you're going to have to split up those tag team title belts. After that, I think you're going to have to do Survivor Series, which it's no coincidence that all of this is happening before Survivor Series. So very clearly, WWE is probably going to have a Raw versus SmackDown War Games match. And I just want to see logic applied to that, right? Like, why does somebody care about being on SmackDown? What incentive do they get to represent SmackDown, right? And I want WWE to answer those questions based on booking and business decisions creatively. So a lot of great things could come out of this. Super excited to see that they're taking it serious this time. This might be the most important thing that WWE executes this year because there's a lot of long-term potential with it. Guys, we've been talking a lot about Sami Callihan. Bodyslam.net dropped a very big exclusive today. Sami Callihan is reportedly backstage for tonight's AEW Collision. And they did confirm with multiple sources that when asking around about the purpose of Sami Callihan being there, it was confirmed to them that Callihan was there to potentially discuss both a deal to work as an on-screen talent and backstage with the promotion. Now, we've been talking a little bit about Sami Callihan in recent weeks because there's been some reported interest from WWE and AEW. Sami Callihan had left Impact Wrestling. If you guys don't watch Impact, I would definitely recommend that you turn your attention to the program. Honestly, a lot of people are thinking like Sami Callihan may not be a big deal. I read the comments in my videos, but if you watch Impact and you see what Sami Callihan did as a world champion there years ago, I think you would believe in a little bit more. Not only that Impact knows what to do with talent, but also you can understand why Sami Callihan is somebody that AEW and WWE would want. I've said this in my video the other day when Karrion Kross was potentially teasing something with Sami coming to WWE. I said Sami definitely fits AEW from an in-ring perspective. I stand by that, and I have no problem with him going to Collision. My only request is that if you're going to bring in somebody of this magnitude, I just don't want to see people being brought into the company and they're just another guy. You know what I mean? Like Collision and Rampage and Dynamite, they all have potential to be even better shows. But when you bring in new signings, they cannot just be another guy, especially when you look at someone like Malachi Black, who I have very high hopes on, but you never really see him get to where I think he should be, and that's obviously the world title picture, the main event picture. So I don't want to see people being brought into these companies only for them to just be another person, and that's one of the things that seems to bother me the most about AEW. But otherwise, I think it's a solid fit. I mean, he's going to do great there, and I really hope that they bring Sami Callihan and Jon Moxley together on TV, because obviously there is a lot of history there, which could make for some really good television. So hopefully AEW does that. I think he will fit very well in AEW. It would be interesting to see what WWE did with him character-wise, but from an in-ring perspective, it's like a no-brainer. He should be in AEW, and you guys could expect him soon. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And our final topic of today's video, guys, 3 new WWE signings. I have heard this for a while. I've heard rumblings of this. It was something that's been brought to my attention before, and Bodyslam.net was actually able to confirm this. 3 new signings for WWE. Brogan Finley announced at Wrestle Action 1 that that was his last match. We know that he had his WWE tryout. Also, DPW's very own Lucky Ali and Jay Malachi are also reportedly going to the WWE. All 3 of them are expected to the WWE Performance Center in January. I think this is a no-brainer, but it kind of goes to what we were saying the other day about WWE recruiting indie talent again. And you look at Lucky Ali and Jay Malachi, and you see what they've done in Deadlock, right? You can tell, like, these guys have what WWE wants on their television screen. And I want them to work out very well in WWE. Lucky Ali, I feel like he understands character, and I think he understands in-ring stuff. And I think Jay Malachi, I look at him from a perspective of, like, has a lot of potential, and I think you can mold him. So what's really cool is when you bring these guys into NXT, it's a very, very low-risk, high-reward scenario. But it is interesting to see that WWE is going after indie talent again, because we saw what happened years ago when that happened. I think it could be a mistake by going after a whole bunch of indie talent, because, again, it's what I've been just saying. Like, I don't want you to bring in people and they're just another guy. You know what I mean? But let's face it, WWE, NXT, and this is where WWE differs from AEW. There is no developmental system for AEW. There is for WWE. You bring these guys into NXT, you're going to move people from NXT to the main roster. Now you need people to fill that void. So in the sense of Jay Malachi, Brogan Finley, and Lucky Ali, you won't have necessarily an issue of them being just another guy, because it is developmental. The job is for them to be something more than that, and that's where NXT could really, like, propel them to a higher spot. So I think this is fantastic. I think this is great news. And look, Brogan Finley obviously going to WWE. It's going to be interesting to see what WWE does here, because Brogan Finley obviously carries the Finley last name. Does WWE decide to change the name? What do they do here, right? And obviously WWE, more than likely, in my opinion, will be changing the names of all these people. I'm curious to see how it all goes down. WWE is all about, creating their own characters and stuff. But I'm excited for this, and I'm excited in general. Like, I think wrestling is so good right now, and if you guys are watching my videos, you probably can see that I've been very excited about what's happening across all these companies, because right now wrestling is just really, really good, and I prefer it that way. 100K subscriber giveaway. I'm giving away one of these belts from WWEshop.com, so go ahead and click subscribe. Don't miss it.